What's up, everybody? It's your favorite bounty hunter who you are no good to him dead's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Mafex Boba Fett. A lot of hype around this figure. Mafex, man, like I just feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with it. I say that I'm out and then it sucks me back in. But this is actually on load to me from Frank H. He actually helped me out with an R2-D2 and then he sent me this along with it, as well as a note that said I wasn't welcome to keep this. But the beautiful thing about when somebody sends you a Boba Fett and then says you can't keep it is you can just act stupid about it and it still kind of works. For instance...
Yeah, I received the R2 man. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. I couldn't find him anywhere. And... What's that? What was in the box? Boba Fett? Boba Fett? Where?
So he only comes with a few accessories, but they all make sense. He comes with this typical Mafex display stage, which is fine. And he comes with this trigger finger hand and these two fist hands. You already saw the two relaxed hands. They're all styled the same way. We'll talk about them when we talk about the figure. And then he comes with this gun. Has a little bit of weathering on the barrel itself. It does have like a rusted kind of gunmetal paint applied to it. The brown is painted on the stock, and the silver is painted on the end of it. It is a bit of a challenge to get it in his hand, and it does cause a little bit of a curvature to the stock. It won't be a big deal once you have it in his on the peg and have him posed, because it's not like you'll want to take it out or anything. But it's not the best done. A lot of these Star Wars guns are really hard to make toys of because they all have this stuff where, like, the handles cut into the stock and stuff, and it's just a bit of a pain. But it will ultimately work. Now let's talk about the figure. It is beautiful. I have to admit, I'm going to probably have to end up buying this, which I have mixed feelings about. But let's talk about it. So the head feels like a double ball peg into the neck, and then the neck is on a single ball peg as well. So articulation-wise, it's pretty outstanding, and the joints are tolerance fairly well. You have this green paint, which is weathered with a darker paint, and then the silver is all added on for different accents of little, nicks along the way, so to speak. And then you have this red that's painted on as well as the black, the different shades of green, and all of the metal detailings for the antenna, which does fold down. Not a lot to complain about there. It's pretty much perfect. For the waist, it's on a ball peg. Actually, it feels like it might be a double. Either way, you get a decent rocking motion out of it, as well as the swivel, which does get you at least something that's anatomically correct. For the detailings, once again, gray plastic. The green is painted on with a lighter shade of green for accents, as well as the silver, which is painted on for the nicks. And then this thing, his little symbol up there, that's tampoed on. And then the red lights are painted on as well. This is a separate piece, I think, that's glued on, painted pretty well with the kind of beige and black. All done, I gotta admit, it all works. For the backpack on the opposite side of the figure, it's tremendous. It looks like airbrushing. It's like a yellow plastic airbrushed orange around it, as well as the red and silver painted on, the blue painted on with the silver over on this side. These are locked in position, but they do have accents and detailings painted on them. There's weathering painted on the blue. There's weathering painted on the gunmetal. The tip of the rocket, so to speak, has an airbrush effect on it as well. This piece is glued on, which I do wish was soft goods. That's the one thing that I wish they would have done. Because they use a soft goods band down here, which is a little strange. No, maybe that is plastic. I guess that is plastic. It's just glued on, and then it has these pouches on this floating piece that sits above it, and it all hides it pretty well. So it's a double ball peg from the torso into the chest, and then a single from the torso into the pelvis. Not much to complain about. The shoulder pads, they are attached to the chest, which is not my preferred way of doing business, but that's how they went about it. They're airbrushed for highlights, as well as silver paintings for the nicks, and then the Tampo Mandalorian symbol painted on there as well. So all in all, not hateful. They are a softer plastic, so they get out of the way as you use your disc hinge to get you 90 degrees and your swivel. And it feels like it has a little bit of a butterfly joint, so that disc hinge is attached to a ball joint inside the figure. You have a bicep swivel, it seems. Let me check on this one. Maybe not. Maybe here you do. No, so that's interesting. It works still fine. You have a double jointed elbow, and then these wirings are all plugged up into ports inside of the shoulder, which is, it's good, but I've found that they want to come out as you're messing with the figure and manipulating the figure. So something to think about. They're just kind of a pain. They're a softer plastic as well. And then we have the maroon wrist guards, and then they have a lot of silver accents on them. I think that's supposed to be wear and tear. That's not done the best. For some reason, this looks a little sloppy in comparison to the rest. On the other arm, though, it works fairly well. I'm not sure what happened here. And then you have on this arm, you have this little bit with the silver and gold detailings painted on it as well. The wrists are on ball hinges, so you get the in out. They swivel at both sides, theoretically, so you can rotate it up, I would imagine. It's kicking my butt right now, but I would imagine that you can. Yeah, because this one is, and then you can get the up down. All pretty well done. I'm going to have to buy this, I think. T-jointed ball joints for hips. Because of these saddlebags, you only get to about there, but that's still a pretty decent range. And then you get up to here. The T-joints are on drop-down pegs, so... But it's one, is it one continuous? No, they're not. So you can get both of them down, and that should get you a little extra range forward. So that works well. And they're toleranced well, which is not something that Mafex is necessarily known for. And the green down here, once again, is the same detailings with the lighter green accents and then the silver nicks upon the armor. And then you have a thigh swivel built in around that system, a double jointed knee, which works really well with the knee pads put over top that hide the joint and have paint detailings on them as well. It does get a little jammed up if you get it outside. Like you see how the knee comes outside of that and then it can get stuck. You just push it in and you're fine. Then you have these little like shin pockets. I don't even know if I've ever noticed them before, but I guess they are there. They're on the Hasbro one as well. I've just never paid any attention to it. And then they have the stuff hanging out of the pockets. It's all painted, so that's done well. All the wrinkles and stuff are sculpted into the pants, and that's done well. All right, so for the ankles, we have this cover down system here to hide the joint. The joint is a disc hinge with pegs at both sides, so it swivels both directions. So you get an ankle tilt up, an ankle tilt down, and you should be able to rotate and get the rocker. So all that works beautifully, and then a toe hinge, and then we have paint added to the accents on the boots, the silver at the tip, and then the sole. It's a pretty tremendous offering. There he is next to the Hasbro one, and it's funny, like, you know, like this Mafex figure is beautiful, but like the Hasbro one is still kind of competing, you know, like this Hasbro Boba Fett is probably one of the best figures Hasbro's ever done, ever. But it's funny. I mean, this one's definitely superior, and I definitely recommend this one over this one. I actually think that it's better than this Boba Fett. More significantly than the Figuarts Jango was better than the Hasbro Jango. Like, this is really, really, really well done. But just for display purposes, this Hasbro one is still in the ballpark, you know? It's interesting to me. Definitely one of their better efforts. But of course, a guy like myself, I can be easily swayed into having two. Final thoughts wise, I wish that the shoulders plates were connected to the shoulders so you could manipulate them, but they still look pretty good every way you turn it, so it's not that big of a deal. I wish that the little tubes were glued in to the bicep. I mean, not a big deal. Once again, something you can do, but it's just a little bit obnoxious as you're manipulating the figure to have to constantly fix those things. And I wish that his little cape was soft goods. I just think it would have really set him over the top. I know people feel a way about soft goods. I think they should be used as accents. I think it really brings some life to the figure. I just don't want all of it to be soft goods like a Mezco. The articulation works like a champ. It's beautifully painted from top to bottom. It's some of the best tolerances I've ever felt on a Mafex figure, joint-wise. And everything kind of works and the accessories are appropriate. It is, hands down, easily the best Mafex figure I have ever messed with, ever, period. Not that it has had stiff competition, but this is not par for the course with them. This is above and beyond for what I have come to expect from their figures. So I am buying this. I can justify it. I'm going to have one bounty hunter shelf, and then I'm going to have him in Jabba's palace. But I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's really a well-executed figure. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.